Hi guys, today we will gonna tackle about spaces. These spaces owned by our Emperor Destruct on BigtimeWarriors Guild. We are the largest space holder under Mega Guild. If you're interested to join our guild, just visit our website page and join our Discord channel. So without further ado, let's hop on how the spaces work.
The first part. About a month ago, we talked about why we went from sockets to exits. And throughout testing, we realized as we were building out spaces in the in-game functionality that if we limited ourselves to just the sockets concept of space, then it was going to not give you an ideal user experience inside the game. In fact, it was going to be pretty limiting in terms of what you can do inside of the game. And so if you check out one of those graphics, graphic number 2, inside of the Discord, it talks about the differences between the sockets and the exit method. And you can see inside of that medium rare space that the sockets, that there was only 3 inside of that rare space, that if you enabled something like a time warden, you lost about 2/3 of your space inside of your medium rare space. But with the exits model, you could put those utility NFTs on the outside. And by putting them on the outside, you actually maintain a lot more area to roam around on the inside of your space, really facilitating that communal hangout area for players, for the community, and for places for you to hang your war trophies and your customizable area inside the game. So the exits, we stand by it, was a much, much better user experience for everybody who's going to have space inside the game. So Ryan, do you have anything to kind of add on to that?
Yeah, a really good analogy would be if you guys remember back in college and you had to share a room with like a roommate, that's not very fun. Versus having more rooms when you have a house, that's much more versatile. So let's say you're in the process of the way to look at it is kind of like, rather than looking at how big a specific room is, that's like the sockets per se, you can kind of think about it as how many exits they have, so how many rooms that are actually out there. And so by using that concept, it makes it a lot more straightforward in regards to how the utility NFTs can be used. So with these exits, users are able to craft better, collect the token better, and just overall have a superior way to kind of use their assets inside the game. And because these utility NFTs no longer detract from the floor space of the space, it also makes more sense from an overall economic standpoint. Back to you, Matt.
Yeah, so anybody that's listened to me talk in the space, in a Twitter space or an AMA about what the utility of spaces are, it generally evolves into 2 things. 1, it's a hangout area for you and your community. And 2, it allows you to craft and upgrade your own NFTs. So by going with the exits method, you maintain more of an area to hang out with your people. And you can change the theme, you can change the items inside of it. And the exit method really helps a ton with that. So that brings me into the second point here. Which is the economy. And a lot of the reason that we opted for the changes with the exits method is that you can craft more things and it contributes to a better overall big time economy by using exits rather than sockets. Now, a lot of people have been asking for updates about the economy. And internally, we've been done with the economy for quite some time. We're very confident in the numbers. We've been doing a lot of stress testing. We have a whole team of economists and mathematicians that have been working on the economy for several months now. And where we're at in terms of development of it is the economy is done. The issue is putting it in a consolidated document or documents that can be easily understood by our community members. And so that's where we're at right now. In fact, I was looking at the economy description earlier on today. And the reason why we're really harping on this is we need to put out the economy information before you can start using space. We want people to understand everything about how crafting and upgrading works well before they can start setting up their space and using their utility NFTs. And by making it easy to understand and easily dispersed to a lot of people, We think that's going to create, again, a better user experience for everybody. But the economy and testing has been done. Ryan, do you have anything to add there?
Yeah, so to make a very sustainable economy, there is a lot of things that need to always be taken into consideration. And kind of like as we move forward in this space, we make sure that our economy is truly tested internally before we kind of deploy it externally. So that's part of the reason why it's taking so long. And then I think every moment that you guys wait will definitely be worth it, especially like as we kind of develop these features and show you guys truly how much thought has been put into this.
Yeah, and so I absolutely hear what people have been asking about in spaces and on Twitter and YouTube and everything. Is like, when is the economy coming out? And it's coming very, very soon. But just know that, like, from the big time perspective, we finished the economy and now we're just putting the finishing touches on that final document. So it is coming. Okay, that brings me to our third point. And just as a reminder for everybody, if you have any questions, go ahead, respond to this tweet that I just put it out here, respond to this post. We're going to scroll through for those questions here at the end and do our best to answer as many as we can. This is going to be a relatively short space, but okay. So the exciting announcements and changes that we have to Exalted Space. So effective today, Exalted Space of each size has one more extra exit. So when we announced it about a month ago, a small Exalted had 3 exits. Now it has 4. A medium Exalted used to have 4 exits. Now it has 5. And a large Exalted used to have 5 exits. Now it has 6. So at every single size of Exalted Space, it has an extra exit. And the reason why we did that, there are several. First and foremost, Exalted Space is still the most rare and most effective space for crafting items inside of BigTime. A couple weeks ago, we revealed some graphics. Exalted Space is the only kind of space where you can create every single rarity of item inside of it. Legendary, rare, epic, all of the other ones, you're capped at how rare of an item you can make. But with Exalted, you can make all of the rarities. And it's only 2% of all of the space that's out there. So it is still the most rare and has the most upgrading and crafting potential that's out there. Ryan, do you have anything to add on to that?
Yeah, I just wanted to kind of re-emphasize that Exalted is definitely one of the most rare spaces. And so we want to make it as flexible as possible and as reflexive as possible for the people that use it. So for those that have the rare space, they can kind of effectively branch out and do whatever they need to in game as we kind of announce the economy.
Right on. So there are other reasons that we added on the extra exits onto Exalted Space, and they mostly pertain to the economy. We made a bunch of changes to the economy over the last 6 or so months, and we thought that adding the extra exit to the Exalted Space further underlines how special it is, how rare it is, and how important it is to the big time economy. And while I wish I could get into more details about that, you're going to hear it about all of those extra details and benefits of Exalted Space in the next couple weeks. But in the short term, just know the extra exits give you a ton more ability to craft those in-game items through forges and armories, and to collect that in-game token through your Time Warden. So again, Exalted Space, still the most rare, the best space in terms of crafting and upgrading items, and now it has even more exits, so you can put more utility NFTs inside of it. Well, that's pretty much it, I think, for the major points on my end. Ryan, did I miss anything there? Do you think we got to circle back on something? I'm going to scroll through and find some of the questions on here.
Yeah, just kind of a reminder, guys. So if you guys create really cool memes, we'll give out armory and mystery boxes to those that do a very clever job. And in order to kind of be eligible for it, please post it to the Twitter, post the link into the Discord channel, and then it'll auto-populate. And if we like it, we will retweet it and kind of amplify that through the entire big time community. And then you'll get your armory or your forge, whichever you prefer.
I love that. Like, I was reading through through that Discord channel that we posted for memes, and I I saw the ones on Buck, and I thought they were freaking awesome. And then I got to the most recent one, and I think I was drinking something like a Diet Coke or something like that, and I literally spit it out. So, like, kudos to the people who are coming up with that stuff. I am looking through the replies to this tweet right now, looking for questions. If you have any kind of extra questions about Exalted Spaces, post them on there, and we're going to take a look. Okay, so I see Dong Jo Co. He's asking, can you elaborate on the efficiency of Exalted Spaces, such as crafting and upgrade? Would it not be dependent on the rarity of the other utility NFTs? Okay, yes. So similar to what I mentioned before, you can go down in terms of the rarity that you can create with your utility NFTs in your space. So for example, with an Exalted, you can create a rare item, a legendary item, a mythic item, but you can't go up in rarity. So if you have rare space, you can't create, for example, an Exalted item. So that works the same way with the other utility NFTs. And you're going to hear more about that when we unveil the economy. But in the short term, just know that Exalted Space is the only one that can create all the rarities available in Big Time. All of the other ones below it can only create equal to or less rare of those items. Ryan, did I miss something on there? Is there anything you want to add on to it?
No, I think that covers it. And then we can go to our next question by Joey Clark, which is, could we rent out our spaces? And the answer to that is we have that in our roadmap. So starting in Q1, we will begin our invite-only beta. And then that's when the true scope and the utility of space will be able to be used. It's during that period where we define what features that the community wants, and we build those features out going into the open beta, which is more similarly to the public launch when the game is free to play and available to everyone. And that's where the space will be able to be fully utilized to other people.
Renting of space is still a very important thing for us, and look for more information on that here shortly, but it's still on the roadmap. Okay, I see another question here. Whiskey on the Rocks. Is there any special utility for those who bought during the first space sale? Well, there's not something right now that gives you a special advantage when you bought space, but what we did announce last week is that anybody who bought space should have access into the game as of right now. So if you buy space, from here on moving out, you're going to be able to start playing the game. And if you have space, you can start playing the game. And we were ready at that point in our game development to onboard all those extra players who bought space, to onboard them into the servers of our game without it overwhelming the systems that we had in place. So just know that buying space right now does come with access into the game. We are still committed to a free-to-play version of the game where it's free for everybody to download and to register in the future, but that's going to come during the open beta of our game. In the interim, in order to make sure we don't overwhelm our systems, the best way and the most guaranteed way to get into the game right now is through space. And when you get that space, you get access on Thursdays at 8 p.m. Central Time. 8 p.m. Central, and you can start playing the game.
Looks like our next question, also by Joey, is do you have an advantage if you hold the full pyramid of all spaces and all sizes and rarities? So the idea behind space itself is that, like Matt said, rare spaces craft rare items. So it's not very efficient if you have like an Exalted space that crafts like a rare item. You're using something that it can do a very specific job, but then you're using it to kind of not do what it's supposed to do. So like the idea behind it is that, like, let's say you have let's say you own a company and you have employees, but then you're having your most expensive employee do kind of like the most menial of tasks. Like it's not very effectively worth their time per se. So the idea behind it is that, like, in order to be truly efficient, you do want a kind of wide variety of sizes and rarities.
Yeah, the only thing I'd add on top of that is there is very much a finite quantity of each rarity of space, and I think only 2% of all the space out there is Exalted. Not everybody can have it, and whereas rare at the base part of the pyramid, it's about 40% of the total quantity. And we already know from what you can see on the marketplaces that generally speaking, the more rare items tend to have the highest prices on the open market right now. And not everybody wants that. And some people are going to want some rare or less rare items to customize their character. So being able to appeal to all of that, it's going to be very much on that space owner to determine how they want to use it. But there's definitely benefits to having that full pyramid. All right, I'm reading through some of the other questions. I see.
I think we have time for one last question, Matt.
Yeah, I see one more from H2O Jedi. I like this one. So will Mythic be able to upgrade everything up to Exalted? That is the current plan. Is that only Exalted is going to have an additional capability over the Mythic in terms of crafting rarity and ability. But right now, Mythic is kind of next in line in terms of the most quantities and most rare types of items that it's going to be able to craft inside of it. Ryan, did I miss anything there?
I think that's good. I think that pretty much wraps it up for this space.